Oh, no, he didn't.
Girl, yes, he did.
The podcast, Oh No, Girl, Yes. Welcome back for another episode or edition, whatever you want to call it. It's an addition. It's an addition that is an addition to our catalog, if you will. We are happy to be here. We love to see that you have subscribed, that you have liked, and we also encourage you to share the podcast with your loved ones. Also, don't forget, we also have YouTube, available on all platforms, also Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And did I mention Patreon? You can be a supporter of the program, and it gives you access to special live events, behind the scenes dish, an extra episode every week. That was me giving you time to sign up for Patreon. Okay. All right. So today we want to talk about fake deepness, the deep fake that men try to pull on us women folk. Now, when I say deep fake or fake deepness, what do you process? Give me some examples of what you have experienced in dating when a dude is a deep fake.
Well, I mean, I think I talked about one on this podcast before. It was a popular episode. It was called the Pizza Hut episode.
The Pizza Hut episode. Remind us. And if you haven't heard it, go back and listen, but remind us about the Pizza Hut episode, friend.
Well, I just went on a date with a guy who displayed this fake deepness, where he talked about how he was talking about how we were like the original Israelites, or no, we were the Hebrews. And just, you know, the grand rising type thing. He gave me that vibe. But anyway, basically was against the white man or the man, and said that God hated the man. And one day God was going to punish the man for all the things he did to Black people. Mm-hmm. But he said it in a more eloquent way than I am.
I'm sure.
He used much bigger words than I'm using right now.
I'm certain.
Yeah, and he kind of scared me a little bit. He was very, you know, and he left me a nice little voicemail afterwards, after I didn't answer the phone for him a couple of times, which I don't think he understood that he scared me away, but he did.
Well, he scared you away before the voicemail.
He did. Yeah, but the voicemail was just a cherry on top. You know?
Cherry and the whipped cream on top of the crazy.
Right. Yeah, so he was very deep about, you know, I mean, this had to do with race. So it was just, you know, Black people and, you know.
He was militant.
Yeah, but not the militant that you would embrace. It was that militant like, oh, whoa. Stay away from me.
The militant without an army.
Yeah. And I actually met somebody on Bumble recently who did the same thing, or displayed early warning signs of that on our first conversation. He mentioned the Babylonians and Jesus in normal everyday conversation. And I was like, well, who are I never really got who the Babylonians were. I'm assuming they were white people. I don't know. He was like, you know how these Babylonians be out here trying to keep us down and stuff like that. So
I know, right?
I don't know. Right? He didn't reference them. And so when I was asked, he's not from here. I was like, well, what brought you to Birmingham? Oh, my mama started on the plantation here back in the 70s. And, you know, we just kind of migrated down.
We might have got here through a time machine.
He was talking like this was normal talk. And I was like, oh, okay.
And it turned you off?
Surprisingly, right? Yeah.
So you kind of mentioned it in passing. You said the grand rising type dude. So for people who don't know or ain't on these streets or have not experienced, for some reason, there is a man that will start a greeting to a woman as grand rising. We don't really know the origin of grand rising.
If I had known we were going to talk about that today, I probably would have looked it up and tried to figure it out. But I don't really care that much. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's just I don't like it.
You don't like it. But I wonder, because I noticed like grand rising, I feel like might be attached to people who say happy born day.
I don't associate the two.
For some reason, I associate the two. When people say happy born day, I think those are also people who say grand rising.
I guess they could. Yeah, makes sense.
I think people that I've seen it online, I've seen both on their.
Yeah, that guy who was talking about the Babylonians, when he first called me, he said grand rising queen.
Now, why is the queen the deal breaker? It's grand rising is bad enough, but grand rising queen, sir. We will not. So there's a video circulating on social media. I'm going to drop it in here, and we can talk about why people got upset in the comments and why we thought it was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Good guy morning text.
Grand Rising, my beautiful black queen. I hope I didn't awake you. I just wanted to let you know you were the first thing on my mind as soon as I woke up. After our date last night, man, I couldn't stop thinking about your beautiful smile.
Versus Hood morning text.
Man, wake your mustache up, dog. Dirt ass, dench ass. Man, get the fuck up. Go brush your motherfucking mouth. I know that mouth stink, dog. I know. Oh, I can smell that shit over here, man. So listen, man, hit me up when you wake the fuck up, dog. Funky mouth ass. Stop playing with me.
Okay, so when we saw that video, we thought it was funny because we identified with, it's not that we don't want a good guy, but we just want somebody that's a little bit more authentic. You know? And so when that video was shared, a lot of the comments, this is why women don't want a nice man. This is why nice men finish last. Y'all can't stand nobody that respect you. And the women are like, that don't equal respect. That don't mean respect. With nothing else, it makes us scared of you and feel like, oh, he's trying to run game.
Yeah. Every time I see threads like that, it makes me realize just how much different we are. You remember that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus? It's so true because we really don't see the world the same way. And like, if you think that that's a form of respect, then we really don't know each other.
That it ain't. And we're telling you that. And so then instead of saying, oh, dang, well, I won't say it no more now that y'all said that y'all ain't receiving it that way, you don't argue with us about what respect we don't have for ourselves. Versus saying, but that doesn't really denote or connote respect to us. It's like,
it's fake. It's what it is. It's fake. If I don't know you, let's just get to know each other. I don't have to be your queen. I don't have to be, I don't have to be that. Like, you can treat me like a queen if you want to. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna turn that down.
But let's talk about the term queen. Let's talk about the term queen. We all know we queens, black girl magic, rock your crown, fix your sister's crown. So we're not saying we not that. However, in the context of a dating situation or a single man or a single woman, whatever, queen speaks to more of a we together. I am you the king, I'm the queen. This is a household, we building something. This is my king, But if I'm just meeting a dude and I say, good morning, king, I need to go lay back down. Because I'm trying to give him the impression that I see him as this potential thing for me. And it's kind of future faking, but it's like this thing of like, good morning, king. And so, she called me king. Well, he ain't my king. We don't even know each other like that.
Yeah. It's fake. I'm sorry. It's just fake to me. And I feel like I can point fake out from a mile away. I don't like it.
But the levels that men are going to do the deep fake are a little upsetting. So I recently dated someone who could cry. Now, looking back, because he lied about so much, I don't know if any of them tears actually came from his eyeballs. It's like, I'm looking back like, And I told you in real time, girl, he cried and he was so vulnerable. And I was getting attached to that vulnerability because I just so happened to have been on a new journey of vulnerability myself. And it was like, wow. And me being vulnerable, he's vulnerable. And I connected to that, even though most of the things he said were not true.
Right.
Now, looking back, noticing all the lies and noticing why I was connected, so-called connected, was vulnerability. Do you think men are faking vulnerability? In addition to fake deepness, fake wokeness, are they faking vulnerability?
I'm already, not anti-vulnerability, but I do side-eye it a lot.
I'm more into vulnerability than you are, for sure.
But I side-eye it. The reason I side-eye it is because I feel like it could be a way of trying to impress someone, or, you're not being authentic. Sometimes everybody that's vulnerable.
Situation, yeah.
Everybody that's vulnerable is not being fake. But a lot of times, if I just met you and you feel that comfortable with me, like I feel like it can be kind of fake to me sometimes. So, which is why I like your new guy, because your new guy does not display that
at all.
Which is why I'm a fan of him. I root for him because I feel like he's real, regardless of how raw and how harsh it may seem. he has not tried to say anything to impress you,
No.
just to, just to do
never
it.
tried to say
to be
anything to impress me.
And that's a problem. She struggles with that, but I'm like, girl.
But you know what? Let's just use my dating history for you and your reaction to it. Last year, when the ex-boyfriend came back, you fell for them flowers.
I did.
Okay. And I think you are scarred from my situation where by the time the one that's before this one, or even the one before this one.
Right. Exactly.
You side-eyed both of them because they weren't necessarily grand rising, but they were, oh, I'm so emotional and I'm so deep and I'm so into my feelings and toxic femininity and alpha male and all these words. You never was really checking for him. And now my boyfriend, that I'll use that terminology loosely, my man, he don't do nothing to impress me. He don't do nothing to try to make me think he's better than he is. And I struggle with that because I'm like, so where's the show? Where's the show? And you're like, not like that because he ain't even pretending. And I'm like, can we pretend a little bit?
No.
And
because I think the pretending is what makes me not like him in the end, because it's like you were just fake in the beginning. Like, don't just show who you are. And if I accept you for who you are, then we're gonna be just fine, because I don't expect much else, And
that's one of the things with my boyfriend now is that I'm so used to being love bombed by inauthentic people. So I'm used to and this for 25 minutes, and then I'll talk to him again and they didn't mean it. And my boyfriend now is so casual and calm around me that I feel like he's too casual. Like, hey, I'm here. Hey, and he's like, what? What? Okay. But he's there. And I'm struggling with, I have been conditioned to love bombing, false intimacy, false vulnerability. And now I have a person who ain't pretending. He's a great guy, but he don't pretend like he's better than he is. And I like him, but I struggle with where's the show? Where's the show? Give me a show, please.
And I probably have the opposite problem than you. Go figure. Where I'm so comfortable with people being, just calm and not overly emotional.
You're frozen on this end. Turn off your camera and turn it back on if you can hear me. Okay.
Oh, can you see me moving now?
Yeah.
I'll just start from, I'm so comfortable with the lack of emotion and the lack of expression of that emotion, to where I almost miss the mark when I can't tell the difference in between whether they're feeling me or not. You know what I mean? Because, and then I'll be 6 months down the road thinking this guy's into me, and he's not, because he's never expressed it in that way that, because I don't want to even receive it in that way.
And
so
I'm
it's
always pushing you, like, you need to have a conversation. You need to, y'all need to talk about it.
Right.
Because I'm more on so when a guy who's being fake with me, oh, he's going to eat that up. Oh yeah, I'm going to marry you. Oh, we going to do this, because he sees that I thrive off of that kind of communication. Even though he ain't being authentic about it. And then in your world, you ain't overly into it like that. So you might have a situation where you don't get clarity because I'm cool. We ain't got to talk about that.
Right. And I might think it's a certain way, but if they don't say anything, I would never know.
Right. We talked about that, I think, on one of the earlier episodes about needing to know something different from when we were in our 20s of, okay, what's the expectation here? And what are we saying we're doing? And how am I looking at you in the world? But I think now with the guy I'm with now, I'm having the challenge of learning to appreciate. I mean, at the end of the day, I appreciate that he is what he is, even though I'm not used to it, because I'm not used to authentic men pursuing me. So it's kind of like when you've been used to being abused, when he ain't popped you in the mouth, he's like, you don't love me, and I'm like, well, this dude ain't future faking, he ain't love bombing me, he ain't, so what are we doing? And so but that's interesting in that we do prefer that authentic connection that sometimes is not gonna look pretty, but it's real. Like the video we put in there is like, this dude is making fun of you. I know when you do Bumble, you like to roast dudes, and you like when dudes roast you back. Like, that's more interesting and fun for you than the dude that says, oh, wow, I can see us walking hand in hand in the sunsets as the birds chirp by. You know, you're like, what?
That first conversation, that is weird to me. That is weird.
You don't think somebody could just, well, we have had that episode as well. I was going to say, you don't think somebody could just have a picture of what they dream of and then insert you there?
Yeah, we had that episode too. I don't remember what the name of it was.
But on the vision board.
This dude put me on his vision board 2 days in and told me, oh, I sent him a pic. He told me to send him a selfie. I sent him a selfie. I remember I was on 280. I remember that. And I sent him this selfie and he was like, oh, I'm about to put this on my vision board. And I said, please don't.
No, again.
Y'all 2 days, man.
Because I know we already did an episode about that, but y'all comment, remind me. So I don't hate that a man could have me on his vision board. I hate that he told me about it.
Okay, and that's true. I guess if I hadn't known, but that thing scared me because he already displayed signs of putting me up on a pedestal before he knew me, putting me up on a pedestal that I wasn't even capable of being on. And I'm not saying I don't believe in myself and who I am. I just think he saw me as somebody else and I was going to be somebody else to him.
Right.
And I kept trying to show him other ways. Like, hey, I'm not, I'm cool. But I was not that woman for him. And so 2 days in when he said that, I was like, hey, don't do that because I just want you to can we just get to know each other? That was my overarching thing with him. Can we just get to know each other? I say that a lot. Can we just get to know each other? But he was ready for everything else.
Right. I would think that my equivalent to your vision board would be the guy who wanted to get my paperwork so I could move into the bunker for the next quarantine lockdown.
Yes.
Same thing. And I want you to meet me and say, I need to be with her forever. That's the whole point. It don't take all day to recognize sunshine. However, how and when you communicate that can be the game changer. Because you say that on the first date, I'm like, okay, let's just see where it goes.
And I can see men now thinking, or who are listening to us, maybe the single men, like, see, that's why y'all ain't got nobody, because y'all don't want us to be, emotional. And then I saw this thread on Twitter today. It was something similar to the video we showed or something like that. And they're like, see, this is why men can't be vulnerable, y'all. Y'all scar us. And then you wonder why we out here doing this and doing that. And women and men were arguing in the comments. It's like men get scarred one time and it's like, oh my God, I got to be a trash man now because she hurt my feelings in third grade.
Yeah, one time.
I don't have any sympathy for that. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? Because my boyfriend now was kind of clear from the beginning too of I can be that dude. I will put forth that effort. And that's before we even had a phone call. Mm. But I think the difference is if you're attracted to somebody, it's like the difference between sexual harassment and he's flirting.
Yeah. Because and that's not fair to men. That is not fair to men. I will say that.
About it. And I'm like, the dude that wanted me to move into the bunker on the first date was, but my man now on the first day, I called you and said, oh girl, I just met my husband on the first day. Mm-hmm. And so it's a case-by-case situation. Yeah. Because if this great guy that you're interested in and attracted to says, hey, why wouldn't I want to be with you? Let's go. Let's be intentional. Let's do this. You're like, okay.
That's very true. And that's where women are not fair to men. And that, it's not fair, but it's a disadvantage for men in that regard, even right. With the sexual harassment, but something even less serious than, hey, you're the one. Let's go. If you're really attracted to them or they got something you really like about them or something like that, you're going to be more than likely, let's be honest.
Right. And you know what?
To go with it. As opposed to somebody who you think you might have to build something with before an attraction to, so.
Very true. And we've also talked about the fact that men, when they're ready, they're ready. And we just rarely have met a ready man, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's like when a man is ready, I can say I share with you on me and my boyfriend's recent visit. We've never talked about marriage in detail, or he's divorced. I've never been married. I know we've never had a conversation about it. But after our very first conversation in life, I called you and said, girl, I just met my husband. Mm-hmm. I think somewhere in his world, he has the same clear understanding, and we've had conversations we haven't had. Mm-hmm. But just like how he's my husband and we haven't talked about it, I feel like he's having these conversations somewhere in his mind or with other people, and he thinks he's had it with me.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't had it. But I think sometimes,
and that's not just you making it up. He's brought up things and make you think like, okay, we didn't talk about this, but if you think we did, okay, cool.
And I'll say, maybe you had a conversation with someone else. I realize now that might be a deflection and a defense mechanism for me that he takes offense to. I didn't have this conversation with somebody else. By the time he told me, he told his 87-year-old mom about me. I told my mom about him the next day. You know what I'm saying? So I know how I'm moving in the world. So by the time little flecks of it shows up, I'm like, now he and I have never talked about this, but that is a rare occasion where two people met at a time where we said, okay, I pick you. I've jokingly said that, you know, dating is so much harder than it has to be, that me and you right now can decide to get married and we can be at the courthouse married if that's just what we decided to do. Not because we love each other, lesbians or anything else. It's just we can decide. So when we get into dating situations, it really comes down to, I have decided I want to pursue a relationship with you. I have also decided same thing with you. We have decided to do this together. Mm-hmm. All the other stuff that ends up happening, the fakeness, the fake vulnerability, the guy I dated before who used to always be crying, he knew certain words to use, you know, I'm broken, I'm trying to heal, all that. But none of it was authentic because he's a big fat liar cat in general. Mm-hmm. And so when my boyfriend now seems so emotionally unavailable, I still take some peace in his authentic. He's not trying to manipulate.
And I think as you guys grow together, he will eventually show an emotional side, and then you don't have to question whether it was real or not, because that's, you know, that's not who he shows himself to be all the time.
Yeah, he didn't offer it freely. He didn't offer it to everybody on the street. Mm-hmm. And even though I know he wants to be with me, it's gonna take a minute. And yeah, now that you mention that, I guess that'll probably be the day you really get a phone call. Oh Lord, girl, this man said he loved me. Girl, help me. I don't know what to do. When is he gonna leave? So, but it's still the authenticity is you have helped me to appreciate him more. And even I've talked to some married friends. I had a conversation with a married friend just this weekend, and in the things that I was sharing with her that I have found to be early challenges in our communication styles, she still thought it was great that we communicate at all, because she's married and it's like he won't even say that much. So even though your man is saying something you want to disagree with, he's saying something. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so it's helping me have perspective of,
right.
You know what?
It's all about perspective.
It's all about perspective. You know, you're like, it can be a pile of doo-doo or a pile of shit. There is a difference. Which one you gonna step in and call it love? But yeah, we don't want to do the fakeness. Be authentic. And guess what? That's how I ended up dating a former crackhead, because he was authentic. I thought, what wouldn't I say to this person who just shared he had a drug problem years ago? What, you know, and I didn't mean to date him. We were friends, but because it was an authentic connection and I felt like he was being honest, I felt like he wasn't trying to be somebody he wasn't. Almost to a fault. You know, I would get mad at him because it's like, do you not see who you are? Be that. He would still be arbitrarily not who he was. Mm-hmm. So I know I thrive on authentic connections. And I have seen recently how someone has used my openness and vulnerability to try to manipulate the situation with vulnerability. Yeah. And I like to think I'm the wiser for it if I saw it again, if I had to see it again on these streets. Right. Like, why he crying on the first night? Mm-hmm. Versus girl, and he was so open and vulnerable because I'm open and, you know, I saw it as I'm doing my work and that's the result of me doing my work. Mm-hmm. You look back and say, oh, he was on the bull. My bad.
Exactly.
And guess what? It has affected my vulnerability for my current situation, because now I'm like, and I'm working on that. So that's all we can do is try not to let the last one.
It's all connected though, but if you can acknowledge it and then try to make steps to improve, that's all we can ask for. We're only human.
I'm only human. Anyway, y'all let us know what you think in the comments. Have you come across some fake wokeness, fake deepness, fake vulnerability, and did it work on you? Or are you the one that tries to appear deeper than you really are? Please know authenticity is gonna win every day, and it's gonna be for the right one. It might not be the one you looking at, but the right one is gonna appreciate who you actually are, not who you pretend to be, even on social media.
Yep,
they gonna like you without that filter. Oh, amen. But that's a whole nother episode. Is celebrities and these filters, child. It's breaking my spirit.
I don't know if they filters. I think they going under the knife, honey.
Ooh, I think it's a combination. I think they changing their face and then they still filter the new face.
But these women are pretty. They were already pretty. All of them.
They were. But anyway, that's a whole nother tangent. Be authentic, be yourself. But again, society has convinced us that authentic is poor. Authentic is not special. Authentic is boring. Authentic ain't high class, high value. Be yourself. That's going to be the answer every day. It might keep you single, but it's going to be the answer every day. Let us know what y'all think. Don't forget to like, comment, share. Obviously, if you haven't subscribed or you just ran across us, go ahead and kick that subscribe button. Let us know that you like us enough to come back and stay. In the meantime and in between time. Oh, no, he didn't.
Earl, yes, he did.